Alright, the album I'm going to be reviewing today is The Beach Boys' Surf's Up from 1968. There's a couple things you need to know about this album before I start the track breakdown. And one of those things is that this album is kind of similar to Pet Sounds, but it's different in that the whole band kind of comes together and they all kind of fit into this. They all contributed at least one song. They all really work well together on this album. And not that they didn't work well together on Pet Sounds, of course they did. But that was Brian Wilson. That was Brian Wilson's project. That was him. And this is the band, the Beach Boys. So, um, the Wilson brothers at this time were kind of off on their own, doing their own stuff, and the rest of the band was trying to get back to their commercial hit status. And they hooked up with this manager named Jack Riley who thought, let's do more topical things. So they did. And that's where the first song starts off, Don't Go Near the Water. It's kind of this environmentally aware song that really, it's got this psychedelic, soft rock, kind of psychedelic twang to it. And it starts off the album great because the rest of the album really follows up on that in some pretty exciting ways, I think. There's a couple follies, but for the most part, it's a soft rock, psychedelic album. A lot of vibraphone. I'm pretty sure there's some theremin. Did not read the liner notes, so I have let you down in that respect. But I really think that there are quite a few masterpieces on this album. It is not Pet Sounds, but that's not to say that in its own right, it is not a great album. Um, let's look here. Don't Go Near the Water is it's this environmentally aware song, and the twang in there I really enjoy, and the harmonies I really enjoy. And then it comes into Long Promised Road, which is it kind of takes a break from the environmentally aware, the preach to you, look down on you and preach and tell you exactly what you need to do with everything, and just kind of talks about winning and losing from a first person perspective. Then we've got Take a Load Off Your Feet, which is this childish song, and I say childish in all respect because I love this song. It really is like it makes your ears want to play with just how unmelancholic it is as opposed to the rest of the album. It it takes a break in a way that does not take away from the album at all. Like at all. Takes a break from preaching at you and feeling bad about yourself and just kind of lets your ears and your brain both have a good time. Your ears are having a good time the whole way through. Minus track number 5, Student Demonstration Time, which I thought could have just been thrown out because it doesn't go with the rest of the album. It's a blues song that just it doesn't work for me. It's generic and I could do without it. I really could do without that song. Um, Disney Girls, the track right before student demonstration time. It's kind of a lament for the married life, and I really think that it fits very well within the context of the album, and it fits very well in your ears. There's really nothing about that song that isn't pleasing to the ears. The harmonies, the instrumentals, everything. Feel Flows, which is right after the total. I have no idea what they were thinking with student demonstration time. Like, why would you put that on an album filled with like these soft rock, twangy, psychedelic masterpieces? And you'd have all these songs, and then right in the middle of it, you put this trashy blues ripoff. What? Okay. Um, Getting back to not hating on student demonstration time. Okay. Feel Flows, which is right after aforementioned song, really kind of picks up the pace, and the bottom kind of drops out in the middle of it, and it's got this kind of jazzy feel to it. Jazzy in, okay, think the Beach Boys, and then think the Beach Boys doing jazz. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking Herbie Hancock or anything like that kind of jazz. I'm talking the Beach Boys doing jazz with a flute, you know, and a theremin and things like that. And it sounds really, really, really good. Looking at Tomorrow felt like it was a little generic. Felt like it didn't. It fits in to the context of the album. It just. It's a little generic. I like the ending. I like probably the last 50 seconds. It's only 2 minutes long. But, I mean, I just. I like the ooh, you know, but not much else. A Day in the Life of a Tree, which is Brian Wilson's only contribution, new contribution to this album. We'll get to his older contribution, which is off the Smile sessions, or as it was known back then, Smile, a little bit later. A Day in the Life of a Tree is just, his voice just flows through it. I believe it's Al Jardine singing A Day in the Life of a Tree. I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm going to look like a fool. But I believe. And there's no chorus. It just hits you. It resonates with you. It resonates with me, at least. And Till I Die is another sad song in a CD full of sad songs, in an album full of sad songs. And then we have Surf's Up, which kind of the whole album was based around, since it was off of Smile, which was never released. Well, until Smile Sessions this year. But I digress, I suppose. I never use I digress, okay? I'm just saying. Okay. Surf's Up, though. I feel like it is a good template, but that it tries to be a little too big. Bigger than it should be. Whereas the rest of the album, you can tell that they took cue from it. You can totally tell they took cue from it, but it's not. It's not all it could be if it was shorter and more connected. It's a disjointed song with some very pretty parts in it, but overall it's disjointed. Okay, so I've pretty much gone through and reviewed every track, trashed, and rejoiced in most of the tracks. So I'm going to say out of 4 stars, I'm going to give this album 3.5. Because, I mean, there are so many songs. There's 7 songs that I couldn't live without, and there's 9 that have really pretty parts in them. One, Student Demonstration Time, I'll throw away. But, final verdict, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Definitely check this album out. Surf's Up, 1968, The Beach Boys.